Hi, this is Joel, and I'm going to show you how I created the Add Resource and Remove Resource data orchestration demos. First, I'll ensure that the management pack is collecting a particular statistic. Then I'll set up thresholds for that statistic that target particular pool members. Finally, I'll create a PowerShell recovery action that runs when that threshold is crossed. Okay, so first let's enable the rule that collects the current connection statistic, as well as the threshold rules for that statistic. It's important to target the F5 monitoring service when enabling any of the management pack rules for performance reasons. While I have the collection rule in front of me, I'm going to lower the collection interval to 30 seconds. When overriding properties other than the enabled property, target F5 device or one of the classes that are hosted on F5 device. Now I'm going to set up a couple groups to target my thresholds at. The first group will be called F5 Overflow, and it will contain the standby server that I used in the Add Resource demo. Later, I'll target a threshold rule at this group that will create a new pool member when the threshold is crossed. The second group will be called F5 Dynamic, and it will contain the new pool member that I spin up in the Add Resource demo. Later, I'll target a threshold rule at this group that will remove a pool member when the threshold is crossed. Now I'm going to set up the thresholds. We have two rules that need to be set up for each threshold. A rule that sets the object red when the statistic leaves the range between min and max, and a rule that sets the object green when the statistic enters the range between min and max. Most of the time the rules should be configured exactly the same because they're both working on the same range. So off to the authoring console to override the threshold ranges. I'm setting up the thresholds targeted at the overflow group, which contain the standby server, to go into a red state when the connections go above 0. Now I'm setting up the thresholds targeted at the dynamic group, which contain the dynamically allocated resource, to go into a red state when the connections go down to 0. I'll confirm everything looks okay by checking the override summary. Now I'll go set up the recovery action that will fire whenever either of these thresholds are crossed. I'm going to have the action run a PowerShell script that I have created. Let's take a look at the script. First, I'm loading snap-ins from Operations Manager, the F5 Management Pack, and Virtual Machine Manager. Then I determine whether the pool member that has been targeted is in the overflow group. If so, it means I need to create the new pool member. I start a virtual machine and then add the pool member into the big IP. If the pool member is in the dynamic group, that means I need to implement the remove resource scenario. I remove the pool member from the big IP and then stop the virtual machine. Okay, so my demo's done. This script, as well as everything else I've shown here, will be available for download in the form of override packs and PowerShell scripts, so please take a look at those. And thanks for watching.